Clicky, clicky, clicky.
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds. I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden, our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomedae herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you. The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the Citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear. I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Soziel Danik. One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomedae also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
I do not wish to keep you, Commander. The matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons! I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it!
I'm glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, his trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too. Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme, and beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it. However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the Crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. Of course, I shall answer. That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, a single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after. Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss. Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this. After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it. In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting. I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions. past is given to us to learn from, and to avoid making the same mistakes. But you're right about one thing. I am sure we shall hear more from this twice-turned traitor. Everyone we saw today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Irabeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders, as the minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Neurosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit. These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead. We have a chance now that we haven't seen in decades. But it's more than that. You created this chance for us by foiling the demon's plans in Canabris. The army who attacked the city came straight from Dresden. Demon hordes from the Abyss are usually encamped there, but many of them perished on the streets of Canabris. We must attack swiftly before they can restore their forces. When the city is free and the Sword of Valor appears before our soldiers, they won't be sending in any more reinforcements. Demons cannot teleport into an area protected by the banner of the goddess. Now you are talking like a real knight commander. However, answering your question is not easy. To win this war...
We're rich! We're rich!
we call the World Wound. The best specialists we could find have tried to close them on several occasions.
How's it going, man?
With no success, as you may have guessed.
So-so.
So-so.
Yeah.
The World Wound is more than just a chain of portals to the Abyss.
Hey.
We do not
At least you're not
understand
working
its
like I am.
nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here.
No,
However,
tomorrow's work.
We have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the
I have
source
work
of the
tomorrow as well.
problem, the place
I've got a Monday
where the
through
world
Friday, and I'm
was
still working
opened.
right now. Tell me how that works.
Depends on what you're working on.
I decided to take a half day on Friday, so I'm making up the hours.
Ah.
Running through some final due diligence financials on a project before I get it all uploaded. Realizing that I don't actually have some of the software that I need on my home computer. Fucking spent the last 45 minutes digging around online trying to find like some secret way to download this software because cannot find it on Frontier's website.
Mm-hmm. Gone are the days of being able to find stuff online.
New location is 329.
The main rift lies through the city of Iz
Maryland
and
Berry,
the Threshold
distribution.
Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far and to gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold, the very threshold of the Abyss. Wonderful. I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us, but individual celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first wardstone in Canobris, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts, but my faith in Iomede easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess after all, not to question her works. In any case, I am glad you did not allow the demons to commit sacrilege and gain control over the wardstone in Canobris. We might have lost one of the wardstones, but the chain is still standing. Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the world wound grew,
And this
Dresden fell into the enemy's
archaic.
hands. In the chaos, we had
Wait,
more
whoops.
important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel.
God damn it.
Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on this special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young. Like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again? Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander? Time since anyone tried to talk to me quite like that. Like an interrogator at a trial. I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting. If our enemies in the depths of the wound were to discover that I was with your army, they would immediately send their most vicious demons to attack. They would stop at nothing to be rid of me, and thereby sow chaos across Mendev. But you are right. I shouldn't be sitting it out in the rear. I am a warrior queen, and a queen of warriors. Yet my fighters have forgotten what I look like. Fine. I shall join the crusade, but on my own terms. First, I shall assemble my entourage and lead the parade out of the camp.
Portate
I shall catch up with you
Springs.
later, along with a few hand-picked bodyguards. We'll change our armor, and I'll become a knight of a minor order and join the troops incognito. Until we approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. But before we storm the city, I shall show myself to the troops and join the battle. Let it be a surprise for the demons. I hope you won't complain of my company on the road, Commander, since you were the one who insisted upon it. Do you have any other questions? Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable. Count, there you are. You received my instruction?
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, he has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attaché and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
I knew you would approve, Commander. I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count, but your conduct in Canobris has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the commander may remove you from your post, but I trust that you will dutifully fulfill his orders and make a good showing of yourself. Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility will be following your successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the crusade and your faithful service to the commander here.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin. I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
Then let's get going. May Ayomide help us.
How much longer, I wonder?
Heavy Assault Group. Where is... There it is. Huh. Alrighty. Oh... Magical anomalies are common in the world of Galarian, so common that the use of the word anomaly itself is questionable. A regular city dweller will encounter a chaotic manifestation of supernatural power at least once in their lifetime. One might naturally assume that the strange key, the ghostly fire from rifts in the ground, the rain of eyeballs, all that the world is known for, should find some purchase in the mortal mind. But even the most worldly of travelers feel uneasy at its borders. Why? Perhaps instinctively they understand that this place is not merely a magical wasteland, but a wound, an ulcer, through which the world itself bleeds into the abyss. The commander and his armor walk up the high bank of the West Selen River, where it draws near the border of the world wound. The soldiers' feet halt unbidden. On the other bank rises the a series of cliffs, too regular in shape to have been formed by wind or water. The sky hangs over the sharp edges and sickening bends, the shade of mercury on the horizon rising to dirty rust. As it arches above the soldiers' heads, it regains its familiar azure hue. The soldiers whisper and grumble. The commander's eye feels eyes upon his back. Somewhere among them, wearing simple armor and unrecognized by anyone, the ruler of Mendev is standing and watching the new commander closely. The commander gives the signal to wait and climbs to the highest point along the bank. He decides to... Plus 16, this should be fairly easy. There we go. Establishing rapport with his troops is yet another battle that the leader must face. Though the subtle alchemy of words, one can win trust and raise morale, or lose face and authority. Addressing the army on the border of the world rune, the commander seeks to establish himself as a military leader on this new battleground. And his efforts prove fruitful. The soldiers listen dutifully, smiles appearing on their faces. Someone in the ranks jokes that the demons are growing tired of waiting for them. The army keeps moving. Lines of soldiers step warily beneath the shroud of low black clouds. It's like the world wound has reached out a finger into the lands of Mendev. The gesture seems eerily harmless, but then the clouds come to life, shooting out howling tornadoes, one after another. The tornadoes come from all sides, from ahead, behind, and right above the soldiers' heads. The power of the elements on one side of the scales, the soldiers' faith and inspiration on the other. It's plain to see which is greater. The determined army runs the gauntlet of tornadoes. The struggles last over half an hour, but the army only loses a few bags of supplies and a dozen hats whipped off into the sky. After stopping to catch their breath, the soldiers continue on. Their first encounter with the world wound has ended in their favor.
Rar.
Rabor.
Before a mighty goddess, you crave
Chicken was good.
her for mercy. Hypocrite.
I'll try to explain it in a language you can understand. The same substance can be both a poison and a medicine, right? How would you react to someone who secretly slips some into your drink? And how about if they offer it to you openly when you're sick?
All right, that is a good first little introduction into Act 2, starting our crusade to Mendev.